I finished the first reading of this series. This week I read Cantos 1 through 5 of Dante's Inferno. So officially, welcome back to episode 2 of the Dead Writers Society. So for context of what happens in this section of the book, this is where Dante's journey begins. It starts in a dark forest where he's lost and confused and doesn't know where he is, what's going on. And then from there, he goes through a bunch of obstacles where he meets three very symbolic beasts. Those obstacles basically stopped him from getting out of the dark forest, and he found himself right back where he started. And then at that point, that's where we meet the second character in this book, which is Virgil. And Virgil is an old Roman poet. I'm not explaining too much. This is a very, very brief overall summary of what happened in this part of the book. Now, according to the book, this is what hell looks like. Keep in mind, this is fiction. This is all fictional. But this is what hell looks like. So they start here. Yeah, they start here. So basically, Dante is in this forest, right? He sees this hill. He sees the way out is if he goes up that hill, and that's his escape out of this dark, lost place that's causing him all this confusion. So fine, he goes up this hill, and as he goes up this hill, he meets his first obstacle, which is a leopard. But now look, almost at the scarp begins a leopard. Light and lively, svelte and quick, its coat displaying a dappled marking. So this is how he describes the leopard that he meets. And to him, it symbolized the sin of lust, if I can put it that way. So he moves past the leopard and he's still up on his journey up this hill, right? And then he meets the second beast, the lion, and how it's described is as follows. This, as it seemed, came on and on towards me. Hungrily, its ravening head held high, so that in dread the air around it trembled, and to him it represented the sin of pride. But still he was like, no, sharp, I'll go past it, like I can get through this, right? Before he gets to the end of this hill, he is met by a she-wolf. Now I don't know what's the difference between a normal wolf and a she-wolf. I couldn't be bothered to research that. How the she-wolf is described here, and then a wolf, and she who seemingly was gaunt yet gorged on every kind of craving and had already blighted many a life. Yeah, I'm not gonna read further. What he saw in the she-wolf was that the she-wolf was relentless, like a lack of self-control. And I think the name of that sin, how that sin was labeled, is the sin of incontinence. Dante was like, yeah, no, I'd rather go back down. I'm going back into the dark forest because I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with this wolf because the way I'm seeing it, like it's gonna eat me up and I'm dead. So he went back to the same place where he started, which is the dark forest. But now as he was there, he's like, he's having this internal battle, I'm assuming. And he's confused again. He's like, what am I doing here? What am I supposed to do? And Virgil is like to him, this is who I am. And from the writing, you can tell that Dante, as a writer, refers to Virgil as someone who he admired. So imagine you're at this place and your icon, basically your role model, you're at this place, you're in this dark forest, and when you thought you were going to escape and you were brought back into that very same place, you meet your icon. Virgil says to him, yeah, no, my guy, the only way out of this dark forest is through hell. And that's where the actual journey now begins. For me, I was like, wow, that was mind-blowing. It was just the beginning, but my mind was blown. I was like, oh wow, that's a really interesting way to compare and make parallels and make you... I like allegories, man. It was a very nice allegory for life. Like, where this part takes place is at the first official circle of hell. So here where you find the lustful people, the punishment that is equivalent to their lust is these souls are being swept around and are being whipped around in the wind. Like imagine a tornado and people are just trying to grab on and the wind is uncontrollably like just swinging them around, like things are flying for eternity, mind you. The reason why those lustful people are given that punishment is because it's basically a symbol of a a lack of control, which is what Dante understands lust to be, is a lack of control. What I found interesting there is that Dante and Virgil met a woman named Francesca who was there with the person that she basically was lustful with. She cheated on her husband with her husband's younger brother Paolo, and now they're dead and they are both there because they were lustful adulterers. She feels like she's there because she died for love. So her marriage was arranged with this politician, but she wasn't married to him because she loved him. She married him because she was forced, like she was given to him to marry. In this marriage, she found herself falling in love with that guy's younger brother. And I was like, wow, girl. So yes, that's the second thing that I found interesting in this book. One of the main questions that I wondered was, why would someone write about hell and all of that? And I just did like some reading to find out that like Dante was a philosopher and he was very educated in theology, and he had pure human curiosity, man. He had questions about like sin, life, morality, life after death, the afterlife. I thoroughly enjoyed it because these are questions that people often shy away from. No one wants to talk about, like, no one wants to question. Like, people are very, but this is the purpose. This is why we have artists. This is why we have philosophers. And I loved it so much. I think this series was going to help me fall in love with reading again my way. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed my one-man book club.